The video review will start in a few seconds, but if you're watching this on YouTube, remember, if you have a question, comment, or suggestion for me, you can post it on 3dgameman.com, and the link is provided below. Hello again, I'm Rodney Reynolds from 3dgameman.com, and welcome to another video review. Today I'm looking at the Thermaltake Soprano. This is the VO900 series mid-tower case. A great looking box with lots of pictures as well as features and specifications about the product on it. It's packaged very well with styrofoam on either end, and the case itself is in a plastic bag. Included is warranty information and a user's manual. This is a mid-tower case measuring in at 460 millimeters high by 220 millimeters wide by 510 millimeters deep, and it weighs in at a pretty lightweight 8.3 kilograms. It's constructed mainly of steel and plastic, and as you can see, it is all black. Note though that it comes in a white color, and they're calling this the Snow Edition. The overall build quality and styling on this case is quite good. There's a lot of plastic here at the top and at the front. Now they have a door here which is brushed aluminum. That does look quite nice. It swings on the right side though, and it cannot be repositioned to swing on the left side, and it's held into place with a magnet. At the top here we have a hot swappable drive where you can insert one 2.5 inch or one 3.5 inch drive. Installing a 2.5 inch or 3.5 inch drive is simply a push and pull procedure. All you need to do is push it into place and then it's installed. To remove it, just pull it out. Same goes for a 3.5 inch drive. Here's the power button with a power LED on the outside. Here's the hard drive activity LED and the reset button. At the top front, there are two USB 3 ports, two USB 2 ports, as well as a microphone and headphone jack. Very little branding on this case. You have the name Soprano here at the top left-hand corner of the door, and the Thermaltake logo at the bottom left of the door. There are four external 5.25 inch drive bays and one external 3.5 inch drive bay, and removing all of these drive bay covers is really simple. Just pinch on either side to remove it. At the bottom there are ventilation holes and a removable dust filter, and behind it is a 200 millimeter blue LED intake fan. Now have a look at the blue LED 200 millimeter intake fan that's at the front of the case. It looks great when the door is open, but when the door is closed, you really can't see it. You can see, though, some glow from the bottom. So it kind of defeats the purpose, but you can still see some blue even when the door is closed. Both the left side panel and right side panel are plain, and there's a reason for that. There's acoustic dampening material on the inside, and I'll show you that in just a minute. At the back of the case, above where you would install the motherboard's I/O shield plate, is this security loop. Now, this will keep your keyboard and mouse and really anything else that has a cord and an end on it secured to the case. You just remove this loop by taking off a single thumb screw on the inside. Just route the cables through here. They include 3 rubber grommeted holes for routing water cooling tubes and or cables through. As well, they include a 120 millimeter exhaust fan. They include 7 ventilated expansion slots, and notice the thumb screws that are on each of them. This will make it very easy to install and remove cards. At the bottom is where you would install a standard ATX power supply, and they include 4 thumb screws, 2 on each side panel. On the inside of the panels, they have this acoustic dampening material which will certainly reduce the noise of the system quite dramatically. Now, this particular side, the left side panel, has this kind of acoustic dampening material on it, and the other side, it has flat acoustic dampening material, but there is no acoustic dampening material at the top of the case, the front, or the back, or the bottom. Now, this case fits micro ATX and standard ATX form factor motherboards. It's a mid-tower case, so while there's, not a tremendous amount of room to work like a full tower case, there's still plenty of space. Notice the large hole on the motherboard tray, and that's for removing the cooler's retention plate, an enormous time saver. Also, there are lots of rubber grommeted cable management holes so you can route those cables behind the motherboard tray, and there's plenty of space behind the motherboard tray and the right side panel. In the bag that's attached to the inside of the case is a speaker, cable ties, and screws for mounting the drives and so on. There's a toolless design for for installing and removing 5¼ inch drive bays, and there's a toolless design for installing 3½ inch drives in the bottom 3½ inch drive bay cages. Now you can also install a 3½ inch drive there, but you're going to need screws to do that. Now to install a 3½ inch drive, it's super easy. Just yank this out and insert the drive and then slip it back into place. Now you can choose also to use screws here if you want to. If you're transporting the case, that would be probably recommended. You can also install 2½ inch drives in these drive bay cages very easily by using the included screws. So in total you can have up to either 5 2½ inch or 5 3½ inch drives. The video card and power supply length are approximately the same at 315 millimeters, and the CPU cooler height is 175 millimeters. At the bottom is a very long removable dust filter, and this is for the power supply's intake fan as well as the optional 120 millimeter fan that you can install at the bottom of the case. They include 4 audio-video style feet with rubber on the bottom, and these are rather high, which is excellent because it will keep the case off of the surface that it is on. And it's on a soft surface, like for example carpet, that it will still allow those bottom fan or fans to intake cool air. Now just have a quick peek at the acoustic dampening material that is on the right side panel and the back of the motherboard tray. And as you can see here, again, lots of punch outs and plenty of space to organize the cables behind the motherboard tray. Finally, have a listen to the stock cooling. Keep in mind that they have a 200 millimeter intake fan at the front of the case and a 120 millimeter exhaust fan at the back of the case. This case looks great, the build quality isn't too bad, and it pretty much has all the features you should be looking for when purchasing a mid-tower case. Now, if you're in the market for an enthusiast gaming case, this is probably not going to be it. This is really designed for somebody who wants an affordable case with, a lot of features, looks good, and also wants the case to be quiet because you have, the acoustic dampening material on both side panels. But remember, that's it. There's no acoustic dampening material at the top of the case, nor the back, the bottom, or the front of the case. You can always install acoustic dampening material there if you want to, and for that matter, you can install acoustic dampening material in any case. Now, there is no option to install fans on the left side panel. There's no window on the left side panel. There is, no options or fans at the top panel, and that's really to be expected from a case which, the primary goal is to be quiet. So you'd have to go with another case if you really want those options. But overall, this is a great product. Until next time, take care. I hope you enjoyed this video review, and please note that pricing for this product is available on the 3D Game Man video review page.